Hi, this is Matthew Clausen at MedigapSeminars, and welcome to the PartDShopper.com website here, where we will have our Medicare Direct Part D Shop and Enroller. You can directly enroll and shop for your Medicare Part D standalone prescription drug plan. Now, on this website, we have several things that can be very useful to you. It's set up for the person who is shopping for their Part D plan. It needs to really be a simple process, and this is a very simple process, especially once you've taken a look at this video. What we want you to see, though, is that if you're not familiar with Part D, you need to learn more. There's the videos here. The first part, Medicare Part D Explained. This is information that everybody should know. And whether you have no drugs, no prescriptions, or a lot of prescriptions, you want to know the information in this video. The second video is primarily for people who do have a number of prescriptions or some very expensive prescriptions. It not only shows you how you can save some money, but helps you understand part of the Part D program that you really need to understand. Both are good. At least please watch the first one. You really need to understand that information. If you're new to Medicare and you want to see some of our other videos, that's right here down in the lower right. See our New to Medicare video series. And this will take you to the MedigapSeminars.org website, which may look different than this by the time that you're watching this video. We're going to be updating that relatively soon, but it still will have these videos, the #1 Medicare videos out there: Medicare Explained, Medicare Supplement Explained, Advantage Plans, how to sign up to Medicare. If you know almost nothing, start with Medicare Explained, then come over here and then work your way down. We've got a lot of videos. These are the important ones for people who are new to Medicare, including some of our services that we have after you become a client. I've got a Medicare advocate. We are the only company that has a professional Medicare biller to be your advocate. And of course about the different plans as well. So if you're new to Medicare, great place to look. Otherwise, let's get started here. If you want to contact us for stuff other than prescription drugs, you want information on other parts of Medicare, you can contact us, you can email us, you can call us. So let's start with the Shop and Enroller. When you click the Shop and Enroller button, it takes you to this page. And this is our 2021 Medicare Insurance Direct. It's a HIPAA compliant page. It's going to have all the information that you get off of the Medicare.gov website. Matter of fact, we use the same data vendor as the Medicare.gov. Once you get here, my suggestion, the first thing you do is create an account. Unless you've already created an account, in which case you can log in. But why do you want to create an account? Well, because if you don't take care of the entire process here in one sitting, this will save your prescriptions and save your settings so you don't have to start from scratch. This is especially nice if you've got a number of prescriptions. You also, once you have this filled, it's going to help pre-populate the application when you get to that. Once you have create an account, logged in. Just, by the way, you'll know that this is my website. You see the agent here, because I'm the agent of record. What I'd like you to start with, if you just wanted to take a look at plans, you could put in the zip code and click View Plans. That's not what I encourage doing, but that's certainly one thing you can do. What I'd prefer is that you come down here to Edit Preferences. And let's say we could start with a zip code. I'm going to put in an old Virginia zip code where I used to live, Fairfax, Virginia. And when you start here, you've got your different choices. This is Medicare Advantage plans without a prescription drug plan. This is Medicare Advantage plans with the prescription drug plans. This is the one you want to click, Medicare prescription drug. Now, this is very important. We did have one person accidentally enroll in a Medicare Advantage plan. We don't want to do that. Click this so that you're going to be looking at the prescription drugs. If you get help from the U.S. government and in one of these aids, Medicaid or through Social Security, you can go ahead and click here and it'll adjust your prices. If you don't, you should just click I don't know and then click Continue. This is where you can put in your prescription. So we're going to start with some basic prescriptions here. So what happens is, again, this is directly using the Medicare.gov data, and so it's not going to be any different than the Medicare.gov unless you enter something different. And we'll talk about that here in a second. Once you start pulling in the name, it's going to pre-fill it, and when it pops up, you can finally select something. It's going to automatically highlight the dosage that is most common. So for amlodipine, the most common is a tablet, 5 milligrams, once a day. You notice this says per month. You have the choice per 2 months, per 3 months, per year. A lot of people that get into mail order prescriptions will say, well, I'm going to get 3 months. That's what I want to do. I'm going to encourage you not to do that, to go ahead and just do the monthly prescription amount. The reason is very simple. It's easy as you get through to the other end to just click a mail order button, and it's going to convert everything to mail order. But if you put in 90 days, you can't convert it to 30. So start with 30 and it'll convert to 90 days later. If you're convinced that is the prescription you want, you click Add. And it'll show up here underneath. This is the generic. If you need to edit it, you can. Let's take a look at another one here, though. MONT. And we have monoglass sodium. If you notice here, there are different abbreviations. This is important. You'll also have capsule, CAP for capsule here. You've got like chewable, maybe granule, I don't know, but be very specific. Look at this. Don't accidentally click capsule when it's a tab. We've often had people do that, and maybe they may pick a tablet on a Medicare.gov site and come in here and put a capsule, and then they think, oh, your plans don't cover my drugs. Why? Because, well, a lot of times Medicare doesn't cover a capsule when it'll cover a tablet. So it'd be very important. This would be true with injectables, with ointments, with anything. It's not just the milligrams. It is how is it being delivered. If you're satisfied that is what your prescription is, you just add it again. We're going to go ahead and add a couple others here. Once you have your prescription list, all you have to do is click Continue. If you need to edit, you can, of course, edit them, change the dosage, as well as just deleting the prescription if you wish to. This takes you to pharmacy selection. I would strongly encourage you to just walk past this one here. And the reason is really simple, that when you shop for prescription drug plans, every prescription drug plan has contracts with different pharmacies. So let's say, for example, though, that the lowest cost prescription drug plan in your area has a contract with CVS, but doesn't have a contract with Walgreens. And you click Walgreens because it's right next to your house and that's when you want it to use. When you go see the prices as we get to the prescription drug plans, it's not going to show you the CVS price for picking things up at CVS, what might be the lowest cost for you, because you've not selected that. If you leave it open, and we'll take a look here in a minute, it's going to be much easier for you to find the right plan for you, and you're going to select a pharmacy a little bit later here. All right, so here we have the plans that are available to you. Now let's take a look at this. Of course, it tells you how many different plans and the zip code. And I think you actually have the ability to change zip codes if you wish to. You'll notice there are different tabs here, and this is very important. You can click over here to Advantage plans, and these are Advantage plans that have prescription drugs. You can accidentally enroll in a Medicare Advantage plan. A Medicare Advantage plan without prescription drugs. It will also have information here on Medicare supplements. Now, this is a real teaser because it's not going to take you anywhere. It's going to take you to a spot where it says, here, type in some more information. There are a couple companies. I know Mutual of Omaha, for example, does have a direct like this. This is a consumer direct website where you can self-enroll. But not all the companies do. Actually, I think only Mutual of Omaha and I believe Medico does as well. This is set up because that is the way things are going soon. So there will be a point where you'll be able to come in here and take a look and do that sometime in the next few years, I'm sure. But what we want to look at are prescription drugs. So make sure that you've clicked the prescription drug tab. All right, so this is going to list out the companies that I recommend. Now, we get this a lot. So people come and say, well, okay, I went on your website, I chose a WellCare plan, or I chose a Humana plan. Is that one you recommend? If they are here, they're ones I recommend. And my suggestion is to find the lowest cost for you in your situation, using a pharmacy that you want to go to or a method that you want to use. We'll go through that in a minute. So the bottom line is, if it is on here, it's a company I recommend. If it's not on here, it's a company I don't recommend. And there are several this year. So brand new to Medicare companies that don't even have a star rating, but have a very low monthly premium, and are teasing people with that. When people say, well, how come it's not on your Medicare Direct website? It's because I tend to stay away from companies who are experimenting with Medicare Part D, or any other part of Medicare for that matter. We don't like our clients to be part of somebody's experiment. Let them earn their star ratings, earn their position, and unless they're already one of the largest companies around or something. But bottom line, if it's here, we recommend it. Now let's take a look. We'll start with this left-hand side. Just information that you've already put in. You're getting started. You don't get any extra help, etc. We're not looking at health, so we're going to ignore that. Here are your prescriptions. You could actually edit them from here, which is pretty neat. And once you find which company you want and you want to select and put the pharmacy in there, you can do that as well. Then it's going to list out the different prescription drug plans. WellCare has a lot of plans. I think they have more plans than anyone else. So they often show up in here. They are, then of course you have Humana, you've got Mutual of Omaha, Silver Script, which used to be CVS, is now Aetna, and WellCare, Humana, again, a bunch of different plans. When you look at these plans, you should have this sorted by total estimated cost. Total estimated cost is your total. It is your prescriptions plus your premium. So it is the total of what you should be paying for the year ahead. We've entered 4 prescriptions, so we want to see 4 of 4 prescriptions covered. If that said 3 of 4, then one of the prescriptions is not on the formulary, and in which case is not going to be counted towards your troop and counted towards your getting past the Medicare stages into catastrophic coverage. This will give you an estimated drug cost for the year. So the estimated drugs cost for all of these is $84. And then your total annual cost, that total cost is an estimate, of course, that's based on your premium, your deductible, copays, coinsurance. That's your out-of-pocket, what is estimated for your out-of-pocket. Monthly premium is here. There is a deductible. Of course, this has a deductible. We're going to talk about that in detail, too. This is very important. Don't assume. Don't make any assumptions. We'll show you here in a minute. Initial coverage, if you've watched the Part 2 video, you'll understand what that means, that your prescription drug plans will cover you up to this amount into Phase 2, and as you get out of Phase 2 in prescription drugs, you go into the donut hole, which is going to be the manufacturer and you, and then, of course, into and Medicare, and then, of course, into Stage 4, which is Medicare and you. So don't think that this is a limit of all of your coverage, just the limit of the prescription drug plan. And after that, the stages of Medicare, you have coverage help from other organizations like the manufacturer. Now, as you've looked through these, and you may be saying, well, maybe you want a different star rating or whatever you look, and you have a preference of some sort. Sometimes there's a very large difference between costs. For example, here, let's take a look. Lowest cost one is $262 in a year. Highest cost one, same prescriptions, $1,503. Does that make this a bad plan? Nope. It just means this is not a plan for the people that have those specific prescriptions. It'll probably be a lower cost plan for somebody in a different situation. So your next step is to take a look at the plan details. So we've looked at the plans. We want to get the lowest cost out there, and we want to take a look at the details. We would click in this button here. Okay, so let's go ahead and click on the plan details. And we have 3 tabs again up here. We're going to go through one at a time. Very important stuff. So this tells you what plan you're looking at. If you just want to add this to the cart and go sign up, take care of the enrolling in the plan, you can do so right from here. It's going to tell you the plan premium, $14.80 a month, whether you get any prescriptions or not. total of your costs, and of course the total of the prescriptions that you entered, and then a total which is these combined for the year. Pharmacy coverage. This is where we get to that deductible. It's $445. However, that you've got a $0 deductible on tiers 1 and 2. So if your prescriptions are a tier 1 and a tier 2, they are exempt from the deductible. The deductible in this plan is only accounted for tiers 3, 4, and 5 prescriptions. This shows you your monthly supplies for basically your tier 1 preferred generics, tier 2 generics, preferred brands, non-preferred, and specialty. When you scroll through this, you end up here where you can get some documents that you may want to have on record, a summary of benefits, a formulary. It's going to tell you all the different prescriptions that are in the formulary of this particular plan. And a blank application if you want. We don't need to use this one because we're going to use the electronic one. Star ratings. As I make this video, we've not yet gotten the 2021 star ratings. So right now these are all showing the 2020 star ratings, but you can click on that to see this. I like this part here because it shows your prescriptions. It shows which ones are covered. And you can search, by the way, here about with your prescriptions if you wanted to try to change or replace on this or add or edit these. If you had a prescription, well, you put in there, but you really don't pick it up, and it's maybe something you pick up once a year, and you don't want to actually have it considered because it's kind of, messing with the order of the drugs. You can come in here and just take it out. This is where you want to look at the pharmacy directory. Remember, we skipped it the first time. So let's just take a look at the directory real quick. The way this directory is set up is if you've got this teal looking color, then the pharmacy is part of the network, but it's a standard pharmacy. It's not where you will get your best price. The green is where you would get your best price with this particular plan. So if you like to go into Giant, the grocery store, pick up your prescriptions, you can do that. But if you really wanted CVS, maybe this won't be the right plan for you. So what we can do here, we can go back here and edit pharmacy. So what I did, I just went back to the page, and let's say that I really wanted CVS. That might change things, but that's what we're going to go ahead and do. So now these are all listed with the prices as if I'm going to CVS. And it looks a little bit different, but not a lot. But this is where, and this is how you'll go about seeing if this plan is right for you versus this plan, is to look at the different pharmacies and the pharmacies that are available. So let's go back to the prescription area. So let's come over here, edit pharmacy. So that's one place to get the pharmacy. You can also edit it over here, remember, as you may recall. And let's come back and just take it out so we have none whatsoever again. In this case, let's take a look at the second plan. Now, if it's not a whole lot more expensive on a annual basis, the premium is a little less. I guess the prescriptions will probably be a little bit more. So you have a lower premium, but you're spending $96 instead of $36 on the prescriptions. But it may have different pharmacies. So let's take a quick look. So again, we're going to scroll all the way down here too. Tiers 1 and 2 are exempt. It's important. Let's scroll all the way down the pharmacy directory. So here you have the same company, but it's a different plan, so it has different pharmacies that are in network. In this case, this does have CVS. It also has Walgreens and Giant. And maybe you go to more of these, and it's easier to use these. That's great. Now, once you click one, this is important. Let's say you go ahead and add a CVS pharmacy to this. That doesn't mean you have to go to CVS. You still can go to any of these pharmacies, any of them that are on here, whether they are preferred or standard. All you're doing is trying to get the price for what it would be at this location as a preferred network. So if we came into here and we wanted to add the pharmacy, and we went ahead and chose a CVS. Okay, so that's how you search for and edit a pharmacy. Let's come back to plan details. You can get more information in taking a look at some of these tabs. You've got prescriptions. It'll go through each of your prescriptions here. Now, there's not a lot of information on these. I'm going to show you a different setup here in a second in case you have a lot of others. But important stuff, the retail cost of the drug, your cost before the gap, during the gap, after the gap, and that it's a generic. This is the amlodipine. No prior authorization, no quantity limits, no step therapy. Valsartan has a quantity limit. You can get 30 drugs, 30 pills or tablets, in 30 days. Same with rosuvastatin. No preferred or specialty tier drugs. And by the way, down on the bottom of this part, it does have some good information. This is stuff we covered in the part 2 phase of the videos. Much of this is, but there's some other information you can learn if you just want to reference it. Now, if you, again, are ready to go, you can add to the cart and follow along from there. Once you've done the prescriptions, you've looked at them, you've got your total estimated cost, and this is going to tell you what it's going to cost you on a month-to-month basis. And it's going to show you which phase you're in. In this case, this set of prescriptions keeps you in the deductible phase. You have drugs that are exempt from the deductible, and you don't ever have a prescription that is subject to the deductible, so you stay in that phase. What I want to do here is I'm going to cut away, add some other prescriptions in here that are more expensive, and show you what it looks like when you have a full set of prescriptions that may bring you through some of the different phases. But in this case, you know that with this particular situation, your total cost is going to be $23.10 a month from January through December. So cut away, I'm going to add some drugs, and we'll be right back. Okay, so what I've done is I've added a bunch of prescriptions from different tiers to show you what it's going to look like. And I'm going to pick on here is the Aetna SilverScript Smart Plan. In this case, what I want you to see, first off, is they've got 11 prescriptions in there. Well, in this case, only 8 of 11 are covered. 7 of them are. Here's 9 of 11. And so you can quickly see that there are some of your prescriptions that are not covered, and you may want to take a very close look at those and perhaps even find a similar prescription that is covered and that, of course, you talk to your doctor about. Let's take a look at the plan details. And when you click on the prescription tab here, the thing I wanted to point out here is you can very easily see where the Tier 1 prescriptions are, Tier 2 prescriptions, Tier 3, the Tier 4. There are no Tier 5. And here are your 2 prescriptions that aren't covered. These are the ones that you may want to find an alternate, a similar drug that may already be covered. And let's go to the total estimated costs to see how this sets up. And of course, you have your 4 different stages of Medicare. And if you notice, this shows your months. You've got $1,100 in January, then $900. Come down to $812. So let's take a look at what's going on. The first month, you're in the deductible phase. Second month, you're in the deductible phase, and you end the deductible phase and enter the copay phase. That's phase 2. You remain in that copay phase for a while until it comes down to October. That's where you enter the gap, the donut hole or coverage gap. And in this case, you don't exceed the gap, you stay in it, and don't get to catastrophic coverage. Very, very nice way to follow through and get the right information for you. This is great information. It's not available, certainly not in this format, in the Medicare.gov website. This is much easier to work with. So you're ready to go ahead and get this prescription plan. Let's say you've chosen it. You just add it to your cart. And then you continue to apply, and you continue. Now, there's something here that is really, really important that I want to cover before we close this video. And a couple things, simple stuff. You have more access to the documents as you did before. I'm going to put in a fake name. All right, this is what is very important, and then often a common mistake. Of course, you put in your Medicare number in here. And every time you enroll in a prescription drug plan, you've got to choose what special enrollment period you may be qualified for. And, you have an annual enrollment, which is where most people are here between October 15th and December 7th. You have other special enrollments. You want to choose them here. Now, new to Medicare, I want to make sure that you understand. New to Medicare means that you are new to Medicare Part A. If you are 67, 68, 69 years old, you've had employer group coverage since you were 65, and you're just enrolling in Part B, you are not new to Medicare. In that case, you're going to say that you're leaving your employer or union coverage, and you're going to put down what date that coverage ended. New to Medicare means you're new to Medicare Part A. Very important. Making a mistake here is something that causes a lot of heartache. It's something we can help fix, but it is not something that is easy or fun to go through. So every company has a different set of these. They look different, so be careful and read them. Each of these applications are extremely simple. You're going to end up putting in your contact information, your Medicare information, select your enrollment period. Other info is how are you going to pay for it. You're going to pay for the bank account, with some will be a credit card, some are through Social Security or railroad, whatever you want to do. Then you review, you submit. You will then get a confirmation. We will get a confirmation as well. And you should be good to go from there. Expect to get a prescription drug card certainly within 2 weeks of the time that you enroll in this plan. So there you have it. Nice video on how to go ahead and shop and enroll. So go ahead, click, get going, and good luck.